So hello there, people of the internet, and Vivian should probably stop spamming Blizzard on the training dummies. That would be lovely. So today we're here to take a look at the Resto Druid. This will be the basic Resto Druid guide. Now, Resto Druids are in a fantastic place right now. A fantastic place. The amount of choices you have in terms of playstyle, talents, everything is amazing. Now I know that on the forums, everywhere basically, EU forums, US forums, everywhere I look, there is always a couple of people saying like, Resto Druids are just shit now, man. We just can't heal anything. People are dying. Look, right? If you're doing a 5-man heroic and you're bitch healing the tank and he still dies, that is not your fault. That is not your fault. He either pulled too much and he's not using cooldowns or active mitigation, or the bloody DPSers are not doing their job properly. Because right now, having shitty DPS in a dungeon hurts really hard. This is why the DPS queues are so long, because healers don't want to deal with DPSers and tanks with the mob mindset. For tanks, it's, I'm gonna pull everything and not use any cooldowns whatsoever, or my active mitigation. And for DPSers, it's, someone else is going to interrupt that. It really it adds up. Sometimes, just look at Shadow Moon Burial Grounds, the two arcane dudes in front of Lich King's room, that lore. If neither of those two guys is interrupted, you're gonna die. You can pop Tranquility, you can pop Broccoli Form, you can pop Berserking, you can do everything in the world, and someone is probably going to die. Alright? It's as simple as that. If a tank pulls 10 dudes and then is not using his active mitigation, he's going to die. There's nothing you can do about that. Don't feel bad. You know, they're gonna be like, oh man, I thought you had my back, you know. You've pulled half the Everbloom. Of course I can't fucking heal you when you have 50 fucking flowers hitting you in the ball sack. I can't do that. Alright, so just tell him, oh, could you stop standing in fire? Please, would you interrupt? Would you stop pulling 50 flowers at a time? You know, something like that. It's not your fault. If you're doing your best, if you're doing all you can, and people are dying, it is not your fault. It is them not doing their job properly. Right? Resto Druids are amazing. This is why you see so many challenge mode groups running with Resto Druids. Because when Resto Druid says, you're not going to die, you're not going to die. When you pop Broccoli Form, nobody is going to die. If they're doing their job properly, that is. You know, if they're not doing their job properly, yeah, they're going to fall flat on their face. But if they're doing their job properly, they're not going to die. Right? So, let's look at the most wonderful talent tree you can get as a Resto Druid. When you look at this, all you see is choice, 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 choice. Alright? So, let's skip like the basic ones, you know. Feline Swiftness, you know, it's a good baseline, but Displacer Beast, you know, could be useful on boss fights like Tectus, Twin Ogrons, the boss after Twin Ogrons, and stuff like that. You know, you can figure this out on your own. I believe in you. Ysera's Gift heals about, I would say, 100k per minute, somewhere around that line. I think in a 10-minute boss fight, I've had over 1 million healing done by Ysera's Gift. So I would say about 100k per minute, which is not bad. That's really good. No and no. Just no and no. Then 45, you know, this is good for single target and control. You know, Blood Maw Slag Mines, the last boss. Small adds are going towards the furnace. You can drop Fairy Swarm on them. It's as simple as that. You will slow them down, give the DPSers more time to kill them. Then we have Mass Entanglement. Mass Entanglement, good for big crowd control. Second to last boss in High Mall. These little ants that you have to pull into the void zones and kill them there, otherwise they explode for big damage into the raid. Mass Entanglement is good. And also is Typhoon. Excuse me. Almost burned myself. Then we have Typhoon. Typhoon repositioning skills, good. You know, if, once again, second to last boss, the adds are slightly in front of the void zone, you can Typhoon them in and lock them in with Ursul's Vortex. Very good. Then level 60, it's between Soul of the Forest and Incarnation. And Soul of the Forest, while being good, Incarnation is just healing on demand. You pop Incarnation, and suddenly you just, the heals flying everywhere. Okay, heals flying everywhere, nobody is going to die on my watch. As long as I have mana, you're alive. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what happens. It increases your armor, which, you know, increases healing down by 15%, but it augments your rejuvenation, wild growth, regrowth, and entangling roots. Entangling roots and regrowth are instant. Wild growth affects more targets, and rejuvenation heals for more. Right, so as simple as that. And Soul of the Forest, when you Swiftment, you gain Soul of the Forest, which has great synergy with Rampant Growth. I will talk about that later. So it will decrease the time of your healing touch cast by 50%, increases the healing of regrowth or rejuvenation by 100%, or the healing of your wild growth by 50%. So most of the time you will be using this for wild growth, I found out, alright? So far, I did all the bosses with Incarnation, and I kind of liked it. But for some bosses, I prefer Soul of the Forest in High Mall. So, for instance, Butcher, when you're going towards the last phase, or not even the last phase, what's a good thing to do is, of course, have your Mushroom down. But right before Melee are about to take that Bleed Cleave that he does, you can Swiftment and throw Wild Growth on them. Alright? You can just do that, and the wild growth will heal for 50% more damage, which means it will just bump them back up. And assuming that you have rejuvenation on them, which you should, you're going to do a lot of healing there. You know, you're going to save them with not much effort. All right, if you can pre-plan this, you know, this is more of a, I'm very comfortable with this boss fight, and therefore I can pick Soul of the Forest because I know when I can use it efficiently. This is more like, holy shit, someone is taking damage, I need to pop my broccoli and just heal them up. Alright, that's pretty much it. Level 75, Incapacitating Raw. No, very easy to whiff with it. I don't like it at all. Mighty Bash, you have to be in melee range. So once again, as a healer, that's not a good idea, okay? If something is hitting you in the face, someone done goofed. Someone fucked it up, okay? And you have to tell them that they did just that. Versus Vortex, just good. The range on it, oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. There. All the way over there. See? Yeah. That's a long range. Woof. It's good. It's just good. Once again, the second to last boss, very useful there. You can log the ads in the void zone as people are running away. So maybe if someone's doing mad AoE DPS, you know, even if he takes aggro, the ad will run after him, and he will, you know, fly right back into the void zone. Level 90, I've yet to use Heart of the Wild. I don't think it's that great. Maybe if you really need a big bloodlust and you're not willing to sacrifice that 1 DPS, maybe. But I just feel like Nature's Vigil and Dream of Scenarios is actually good. It's not bad. I feel like those two are just better. Okay, maybe you want to take Heart of the Wild, but I'm not feeling it, alright? So Dream of Scenarios increases damage by Wrath and causes a nearby ally to be healed for 150% of the damage done. Now, because as a Resto Druid, especially in big groups, you have issues with mana, right? When you're healing a lot of people in a long boss fight, you might have issues with mana, okay? And when the fight just doesn't scream Nature's Vigil all over it, you can take Dream of Scenarios. Just take a look at that. Let's reset our healing meter, right? Let's reset this as well, and let's do a little test, right? We're just gonna spam Wrath, and we can see how much healing it does. So we have 6.5k. Still 6.5, 6. Oh, we're going up. It kind of depends on your crits. And in raid, you're going to be doing around 10k HPS with this. Now, this thing is cool. I'm going to tell you why. Wrath is free. So this is all free healing. In a raid with a flask, maybe even a pre-pot, all the buffs, you're going to do 10k HPS with this. And not only can the damage be multi-striked, the healing can be multi-striked as well. As far as I know, I think I saw it multi-strike as well. So you're going to do a nice amount of healing for free. Right? So when you know that this boss fight that we're about to do has a period or multiple periods where the healing isn't really intense, you can do Dream of Scenarios just Wrath spamming. And you're going to do a nice amount of healing. You know, you will still have your Mushroom down. You will still have Life Boom on your tank. You will still throw Regrowth when you have the Clear Casting procs. You will still be rolling your Rejuvenations. or wild growth. But in between, as a filler, I feel like this is a much better choice than healing touch. First of all, this heals more than healing touch. It is about the same cast time, actually, 1.8. It's actually shorter cast time than healing touch even. It heals for more. It has a shorter cast time. It's a smart heal. It's free. It's as simple as that. It's a great filler. And you're still doing, you know, some DPS. Most of my DPS is Vivian, but you're still doing some DPS. That is great. I actually like Dream of Scenarios, and I can't wait to try it out in Mythic. For the first boss on Mythic, I'm running with Nature's Vigil because it's just a great cooldown. It's another cooldown for you. Alright? So, you know, it does damage. So when you're fighting the first boss and you go up on the thing, you know, the round thing where you have to kill the bombers, this is good because it helps you heal the tank and it cleaves healing to nearby targets. So when someone gets caught off by a bomb, you know, they explode with the bomb, they take some damage, you don't have to switch to them, you know, hard switch and just heal them up. Nature's Vigil is going to take care of that. It also does some damage to those bombers, so that is nice, right? I like that. And level 100, Rampant Growth, insane synergy with Soul of the Forest. If you're not worried about your mana, if your mana management is top-notch, if you use Rampant Growth with Soul of the Forest, you're going to do some serious healing, alright? I'm not that comfortable with my mana yet on these fights, but Rampant Growth with Soul of the Forest is insane, okay? And why am I saying that? Well, because just spamming Swiftmend is very mana expensive. It's very expensive. You're going to run out of mana really fast if you just keep spamming Swiftmend on everyone, which is why I prefer Germination. Germination is really good because it kind of works with Genesis, or Genesis, whatever you want to call it, because it adds 3 more seconds onto Rejuvenation and allows you to apply another Rejuvenation on top of your first one. So you can have 2 rejuves rolling on someone at the same time, which I find is great for tank healing. And just someone who you know is going to take damage, you can throw 2 rejuves on them. And, you know, if shamans and, you know, healers like that aren't going to snipe them, it's going to do a nice amount of healing. It's going to heal them up quite fast as well. So Germination is really good. I like it. And Moment of Clarity, instead of lasting for 1 cast, it lasts 5 seconds. But I don't really see that being very useful. I don't know, you know. You're going to do what? 2-3 casts, maybe 4 if you're really quick? I don't see that as a big benefit, right? Because Moment of Clarity, you know, clear casting only works with regrowth. So those targets need to be damaged. And sometimes it just procs and they're not, and you're like, nah. You know, so it's very situational. When your raid is taking a lot of AoE damage, you know, and you know, or selective few people are taking a lot of damage, it might be helpful, but then again, you know, it's a proc off of your life bloom, so not really sure about that one. And then we go for Glyphs, alright? So I have Healing Touch. This is one I will be swapping out either for Nature's Cure, but most likely for Stomping Roll. Let's actually do that right now. I'm in combat. Vivian, would you stop attacking the training dummies, please? I have Wild Growth, affects 1 additional target, but has an increased cooldown, which is not that bad, because Wild Growth costs 12,000 mana. You can use, what, 13, maybe 15 Wild Growths, and you're out of mana. So the cooldown isn't a big deal, and he heals more people. And I have Rejuvenation. When I have Rejuvenation active for 3 or more targets, the cast time of Healing Touch is reduced by 10%. I'm not really sure about that one either. Alright, so right now I'm not sure with Glyphs, but I would say you want to swap them out with your talent choices, especially between those two. Okay, when you're running Nature's Vigil, sure, you can run this setup as well. But if you're running Dream of Scenarios, this setup is useless, right? So even more choice. Do you need more frequent dispelling? Nature's Cure, right? You can store 2 charges, and when people, once again, the second to last boss, you can dispel 2 people. And then just let it recharge for the next fire debuff. It's great. It's great. There's just choices everywhere. It's amazing. I love it. I just love it. All right. Minor Glyphs, you need Glyph of Sprouting Mushroom, and you should really get a Glyph of Tree Ant. Boop. Yeah. / dance. That's what it's all about. Yeah, right there. So, you know, it's just like that. Now let's talk about the stat priorities. Hopefully it will show up. So your stat priorities are as follows. You go, of course, intellect, then you go haste, then you go mastery, then it's multi-strike, then it's critical strike. Where's critical strike? There. Then it's versatility, and then spirit, because spirit doesn't benefit you, but you get as much spirit as you need. That's basically it, If you're comfortable with your mana regen, you don't need any more spirit. If you still feel like maybe, I'm still running out of mana too soon, get more spirit. Get more spirit. As a resto druid, you will probably need it. So, that's that, Haste, mastery, multi-strike, critical strike, versatility. Those are your stat priorities. Now the rotation, there isn't one. Okay, keep your mushroom down, keep your harmony up all the time, which is, as you can see up here, when you cast a hard-casted spell, periodic healing increased by a percentage. Okay, Life Bloom is very important. Keep it on someone all the time because of this proc. Your next regrowth is free, so we can do that. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. Regrowth, boop, free. All right. It's as simple as that. Now, Wild Growth. Wild Growth is a dodgy spell right now. Do you know why? Because Wild Growth, instead of picking the targets with the lowest HP, now picks 5 targets or 6 targets if you have a glyph that don't have full HP. So you can have 2 resto druids using Wild Growth at the same time throughout the entire fight, and one of them could have twice the healing because the spell just jumped onto more appropriate targets. Alright, so that's kind of iffy. Ironbark, very important as well. This is your cooldown. This is your tank cooldown. Alright, so if we look in the spell book, what is it? Ironbark, okay. Toughest Ironwood, reducing all damage taken by 20%, but that's not all. Alright, if we go here, Ironbark also increases the healing the target receives from your periodic healing spells by 20%. So make sure, before you throw on bark on some tank, make sure you have your hots on him, because that's gonna just give him a amazing just healing. Alright, with all your hots on the tank and harmony rolling, and when you pop that Ironbark on him, he's gonna get some serious healing. Alright, so it's pretty much that. Tranquility, it only heals now, it doesn't leave a hot behind, which is kind of sad, really. I feel like Tranquility has lost a lot of its usefulness, especially in Warlords of Draenor raids where there's a lot of movement all the time on most bosses. So most of the time when you want to use Tranquility, you have to call for an aspect of the Fox, so you can actually move while you're using it, which is not that great, and which is why stuff like Healing String Totem seems much better right now. Alright, but this is your basic resto druid stuff. It's awesome. It's amazing. You're gonna have a blast. Once you get into the difficulty or the raid difficulty that you feel comfortable with, and one where you're not just overhealing it insanely, you're gonna start seeing the benefits. Okay, you're not gonna see much healing coming from you when you have like 3 holy paladins, a resto shaman that just keeps sniping everyone with his heals, or a holy priest that just constantly just pumping out AoE. You're not gonna see much. But once you get into higher difficulties and people actually start taking damage and they're on 75% health, you will see what resto druid is capable of. Alright, so once you aren't overhealing fights, you're gonna see the insane stuff you're capable of, right? So once again, I thank you all for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, give me a like. I don't ask for likes a lot, but I want to know if my guides are helpful or not, and if you enjoyed watching them. So thank you a lot, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.